Welcome back. This is our lesson on interference, lesson number 3, and I want us to look at the practical activity number 2 on page 14. I want to demonstrate what you will see on that during that activity. Now, the situation there is a ripple tank, and it makes little waves, and you'll see that there are gaps in the obstacles. Now, those gaps will allow, so this is an obstacle, and these gaps will allow half-circle waves to move through. Now, the lines that I am representing would be the crests of the waves. And halfway between the lines you'll get troughs. Okay, so the line is a crest, and halfway between crests you'll get a trough. Okay, I'm going to do these two waves in different colors. So through this gap comes another set of waves. Now, what you will observe in the ripple tank is humps and bumps that are formed. Now, where two crests interfere, you will get constructive interference. So I'm going to mark the places where crests interfere by these purple dots. So everywhere where crests are interfering, there will be a purple dot. Sorry, this line is not very accurate, but there will be another one. So this is where crests interferes. And that would be constructive interference. Now, I'm going to mark the places where troughs interfere. So here you have halfway between two crests, halfway between two crests interfering. Halfway between two crests, halfway between two crests interfering. Halfway between two crests, halfway between two crests interfering. Here as well. So my red dots would be where you have constructive interference, but troughs are interfering. So that would also be constructive interference. Now I will mark the places where a crest and a trough interferes in yellow. There is a crest and trough. There is a crest and trough. There is a crest and trough. Okay. Here is a crest and trough, there is a crest and trough, there is a crest and trough interfering. There is a crest interfering with a trough. There is a crest interfering with a trough. Crest interfering with trough. I don't know if I've got them all. Crest interfering with trough. Crest interfering with trough. Crest interfering with trough. So the yellow dots are where crest and trough interferes. And that leads to destructive interference. I'll place a diagram or a photo of what you see during this interference on the next slide. This slide shows you a photo taken from the ripple tank experiment, and you can clearly see these lines formed here. They are formed, if you carefully go and trace them, they are formed when crest and trough meets. So they are our places of destructive interference. Oops. The in between, you'll see deeper humps and deeper crests and troughs. They are formed by the they become these nodal lines. They're called nodal lines. So they are nodal lines, and they are formed because of destructive interference. In between, you'll see a crest, trough, and they're much higher than what the original waves will be. So these lines, they're actually not lines, but they call them lines. These lines are lines of constructive interference, and they are called anti-nodal lines. Constructive interference. I think that this slide demonstrates in a clearer way the nodal lines and the antinodal lines. If I can go, because the circular wave fronts or waves are more accurately drawn. If you can look at this first, there two crests meet, two troughs meet, two crests meet, two troughs meet, two crests meet, two troughs meet, two crests meet, and you can carry on like that. Here you have two troughs meeting, two crests meeting, two troughs meeting, two crests meetings, two troughs meeting. So if you join these points, you will they are points of constructive interference, so they are called the antinodal lines. So they will be the deeper troughs and higher crests formed when waves are superpositioned. If I follow one of these other broken lines called nodal lines, they occur because of destructive interference. So let's see. Here a crest and a trough meets. There a crest and a trough meets. Here a crest and a trough meets. Here a crest and a trough meets. Crest and trough meets. Crest and trough meets. Remember, the gap between two lines would be the trough in the middle. It will be a trough, and the line itself is a crest. So they would be points of, and if the two waves have the same amplitude, they would be the points of zero disturbance. So they are called nodal lines. You can follow the pattern, and it should make sense if you study it carefully. Thank you for watching the video.